Welcome to Real Nerds Podcast, unofficially the official podcast of Denver Comic Con 2013. Buy your tickets online at denvercomiccon.com.
Is somebody cool coming this year?
Oh, dude, Stan Lee is coming this year.
Oh, man, and Felicia Day.
Heck yes. And also, did you know that proceeds go to Comic Book Classroom? Basically, it's an after-school program that teaches children to read through comic books. How great is that?
Really great.
I know.
All of the great.
It is so awesome. Now, usually, James, we start the show with what we saw this week, but I'm going to change it up.
Actually, we usually start it with mail.
No, I tell people what we saw, and then I go into fan mail.
I see what you're saying.
But I have something special for our fans. This is exclusive to Real Nerds listeners. If you go to tweakedaudio.com, which specialize in premium earbuds, and enter in the code at the checkout, Real Nerds, you will get a third off your total order.
That's a lot of money.
That is. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's exclusively through the Real Nerds podcast.
Whoa. What do I order from Tweaked Audio?
You order earbuds. Premium earbuds.
Premium earbuds?
Yes. In fact, I have the natural version 3. I hold up 2 fingers, but it's supposed to be 3. It's
They can't see your fingers.
Okay,
man.
that's good. That's good because I look like an idiot.
Yeah.
But, dude, they are amazing.
Cool.
How amazing are they? Like, what kind of features do they have?
Brad, it's supposed to be organic, not like I am a robot. Look at me, Doc.
I think what he's getting at, those are the noise canceling ones, right?
Yes, they're the
Yeah,
noise
hi,
canceling
I'm a
ones.
listener. Why should I give a shit about your earbuds? What makes them so special from the other ones?
Oh.
I could get
They're
earbuds at
pretty
Best
dope.
Buy or Target or Walmart. What makes these so great?
Did you see them? The cords are really flat.
That's
like, it's
right.
really cool.
They don't
And
tangle.
They don't tangle.
Some of them have built-in mics.
Hey, whoa, what are you getting mad for?
Whoa,
I told
whoa.
people.
You called me out, son
Man,
of a bitch.
this shit is cool. Why aren't you talking about how cool it is?
It is.
That's like Brad's getting pissed.
I know. I told people if they go to tweakedaudio.com, select the noise reducing.
I want people to buy these fucking headphones, man. Or earbuds, sorry.
Oh, man. Oh, this is why we pre-record the commercials.
As if
'cause
the-
otherwise,
Discount code wasn't enough.
yeah.
Let them know that, they're noise canceling.
You can edit this, right? They want it to be organic.
Oh, yeah. No, I know.
So,
Sounds better that way anyway.
But even if it's organic, you still gotta highlight the features.
He's still pissed. Like, he is angry. Look at him, man. Oh. If he weren't wearing headphones, there'd be steam coming out of his ears.
totally.
They are really cool, though. Go check them out for sure. Plus, it's, you're supporting us a little bit, too, which is cool.
They have a lot of earbuds. I mean, I just highlighted the natural version 3, but they also have the parkour ones that are kind of made for people on the go.
Yeah.
Which they don't tangle, and they're just more for the sport ones. And they have descriptions of them all. There's about 10 different kinds you can get. They also have just your normal earbuds, too, if you need them, but they're way more comfortable. Yeah. They're not like if when you open up an an iPod, and you put them in, you're like, oh, these suck so bad.
Yeah.
They're actually really comfortable.
And they make them in both the in-ear kind and the ones that just sort of rest in your ear. I don't know what you call those. So however you like to listen to music, because of course a lot of you are just listening on the go, and that's the way to do it.
Exactly. So they have something for everybody. Visit tweakedaudio.com. Remember, at checkout, enter in Real Nerds, just one word, Real Nerds, and you'll get a third off your order, no matter how much you order.
That's cool.
So thank you, Tweaked Audio. And now it is time to tell people what we saw this week. Well, what me and Brad saw. We saw Bullet to the Head. Stay tuned for that review. If you want to get in contact with us, you can call us, 720-6NERDS5. We have a phone call this week. And also you can tweet us, real_nerds. Email us, realnerds@gmail.com. And tweet us, real_nerds. I've said that like 5 times already. So thank you to all the new followers we got this week.
Yeah, a whole bunch of people.
So thank you. And hopefully you're enjoying what you're hearing so far through your Tweaked Audio earbuds.
Product placement? No, never mind.
Real Nerds Podcast, best listened to through Tweaked Audio earbuds.
That's right.
Do you remember that scene in Kung Pao where he's standing up on top of the waterfall and he's swinging the chain and he's singing product placement for Taco Bell? Do you remember that?
Actually, that part, he's walking through a courtyard and there's a bunch of Taco Bell bags around.
You're right. I'm thinking of swinging when he sings "Swinging a Chain." That's what he
swings.
swings.
Shark Ripper.
Yeah.
Has anybody seen Kung Pao besides us?
Oh man, that movie.
I love that movie.
That was the first time I ever watched a movie and then laughed so hard I stopped breathing.
It's
really. Oh man.
it's one of those movies that people, when they hear what it's about, think it's really ridiculous, and it is ridiculous, but
it is.
it's
Yes.
really funny.
Ugh.
And the amount of like all he put into it, because he's basically all the voices and he's all the actors in it, is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you can find the DVD really cheap on Amazon. I'm sure it's like $2 or something. So you should check it out. It's called Kung Pao Enter the Fist. Anyways, start the show time.
Feed meal.
Not too much in mail. We didn't get any too specific messages. I'll just give a couple shout-outs. Reggie, who we met at Comic-Con, gave us a shout-out. I don't think we had anything else. I'm trying to think.
Oh, just conversations.
Yeah, just
and stuff on
conversations. It's
Facebook.
nothing that say, hey, real nerds, do this and that. Cora saw Jay and Silent Bob in Durango. We saw them in Denver,
That's cool.
and it was lots of fun. There's
Yeah,
a
it
story
was.
about shit.
Oh man, I don't ever, which is the point of that podcast, but I don't ever want to be addicted to oxycodone. I just
Well,
don't.
I hope you don't, James.
Thank you.
Because then
Yeah.
we'll have to change this to an intervention podcast.
Guys, I'm addicted to Oxycontins.
I knew it.
Oh.
Your erratic behavior and
Getting the show up late.
yeah. Sleeping till 1 o'clock one day a week.
all those,
Sorry.
all those bathrooms you've just coated
I
in
need help.
feces.
Yeah.
All right, we'll get you help. Oh, well, I mean, we won't get you help, but we'll do a podcast about your addiction.
Yeah.
Can we make that a separate segment of the show?
Yes.
What will
We'll
happen
have Joe do an
is-
intro for it.
is you need to stop taking Oxycontin, but me and James will start taking it.
Yeah.
Tell everybody how great it is that we're taking it, and then you have to sit there and
Suffer.
suffer. Am I the one who thinks that's kind of weird about that part of the podcast?
Yeah.
Jay and
No.
Silent Bob get old, where Kevin Smith's like, "Oh, it's so fun to do drugs," and Jay says, "Well, I have to tell you stories of why I can't do drugs."
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, well, I think he acknowledged that in the show too.
Yeah.
He
It's like,
does.
ironically, I'm
But-
doing weed, and
Yeah. At the
You're all
same time,
drinking.
like his argument of like, well, life is hard and you got to do what you have to do. No. You don't have to.
I agree.
You could
do
not
podcasts.
do pot.
You can do
Yeah, you
podcasts.
could just do podcasts all the time. Which is, it's the same. Doing a podcast basically like doing Oxy.
So yeah, I guess really the only fan mail we got is a phone call. So Brad, go ahead and play that phone call for us.
Hey, real nerds. This is Peter Griffin. And I want to know why you guys never talk about Roadhouse. That's my favorite movie. Except when Patrick Swayze gets cancer and dies at the end. Anyways, here's my thought. Bye.
Wow, that Peter Griffin sounds like a real winner.
Oh, goodness.
Hey guys, our show's reached Quahog.
It has reached Quahog, Rhode Island.
Oh.
And it sounds just like Seth MacFarlane. And I probably was Seth MacFarlane who called this show because the Peter Griffin
What?
on it is
That was you?
amazing. I didn't say it was me. I said it was Seth MacFarlane.
Wait. Peter Griffin's not a real person?
No, he should be. I think next week Jason Statham might call the show because he needs to
Ooh.
know if we're wearing a wire.
Yeah, he keeps saying he's going to call in. Like, every time I talk to him in real life, he's like, oh, yeah, I'll totally call into the show. Though he doesn't sound like that. He sounds...
Yeah. The only reason
British.
he can't call in this week is because he needs to watch one of his movies again
Oh.
and get his speech pattern correct before he can call into the show. So
he needs to do a little bit more research on what he sounds like.
exactly. So
in
he'll
order to
probably be
call in.
watching the one this week, as that
Okay.
is the only movie of his he owns.
Oh, he's not even in the one that much.
Yes, he's chasing him through different dimensions.
I guess so.
Why am I chasing you through different dimensions? I don't even know what he says. On it.
Yeah, you're right. Jason Statham does need to do some
He
research.
does. Jason Statham big time does. I'm gonna go ahead and record it on my iPod and through my phone and just listen to him constantly. Go to sleep with it. You know how people learn foreign languages.
Yeah.
And
Gets up
hopefully
in
I'll
the
get-
morning. Honey, get ready. I gotta go to work. Why are you talking like that?
Because I need to know if you're wearing a wire.
Because I have to practice.
So if you want to call the show like Peter Griffin did, go ahead and call us at 720-6nerds5. Tweet us, real_nerds. Email, realnerds@gmail.com. And now it's time. Oh, actually, I'm going to say something before we start what we've been watching. After what we've been watching is the debut of a brand new section on this podcast. It's Filmmaker Spotlight with the films of Chris Mim.
Ooh.
So hang on I guess I should say Christopher Mim because that's how he puts his name on his movies.
Yeah.
It's more professional.
It's
But
more
you know.
professional. And since he's like, hey, who's this asshole calling me by Chris? I don't know this dude.
Yeah, you're not buds yet.
We're not
We're not
we're
friends.
not friends.
We're not friends yet, but he was gracious enough to send us all his movies that he's made.
Yeah, that was cool.
So that was really cool. So
And we watched them all.
we did. So filmmaker spotlight after this segment.
One more thing about mail. Again, if we missed anything that you sent us, just resend it.
Yeah.
And tell us we're jerks.
We're jerks. But I'm pretty sure.
We try, but
yeah.
sometimes stuff slips through.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we all have real jobs. I wish this just podcast thing, we just get paid tons of money like Kevin Smith. Kevin Smith, if you're listening, we'll be part of Smodco. Is that cool, or you guys want to be a part of that?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, well, we're part of Stitcher, which is another
Okay.
place you can listen to us on.
Yeah, you can stream us live. You can stream us on Stitcher. I wish it was live. Just have people never calling us, and we be taking calls and be like, "Hey, you guys suck," and then be like, "Yeah, the lines are full of people who hate us." And then we'd have
so your name's Real Nerd, like a movie reel. That's clever, man.
You know what, guys? That's real stupid. Click.
Eat your candy.
Got the London Film Review calling us.
Seriously, get over yourself,
Yeah, you got
Yeah.
too big of a head.
Yeah.
man.
Right, this is a London Film Review. You stay out of London or we're gonna pop ya. Whatever they say over there.
I don't think they realize that
Ryan is miming a pugilist.
I
I am.
don't think they realize that I own a copy of Pinata Survival Island.
I saw that used today, and I really I thought of you.
You saw a used copy?
I
Because
did.
they have Trades for It has 4 new copies
What?
of Pinata Survival Island. So if you want a copy,
Never been watched.
they surprisingly though not a lot of shark movies.
You know what's funny? You said that, and I was walking through there today, and I saw like 5 or 6 of them.
On Blu-ray?
No.
Oh no, I'm looking for them on DVD because I didn't see them.
Because they had giant shark versus giant octopus.
Okay,
They
Mega
had-
Shark versus Giant Octopus.
Maybe
maybe?
that's what.
Okay.
Shark,
Here's the
big
thing.
shark, big octopus.
Just generally, if you see one, just pick it up. I will reimburse you totally whatever you pay for.
All right.
Because honestly, like I went through there, but I was looking in the J's for Jaws and the S's for sharks and the 2's for two-headed, and I was still not finding
Actually,
any.
I'll tell you why you missed some, because I was looking through the sci-fi section, and there was a lot in the sci-fi
Oh, there's a
section.
different sci-fi section?
Yeah,
Oh
there's
shit, I was just
horror
looking
and
horror.
sci-fi.
Yeah, because I ended up just with a copy of Howlings 3 and
The Marsupials.
yeah, the Marsupials, which I know that's already a cult classic. And then Pumpkinhead 2, which I saw
Paul
when I was
Salmon
little.
Didn't he say something about Pumpkinhead 2? I'm pretty sure he did.
I think he did. Yeah, I may have to re-listen to that.
that
I saw it
interview.
when I was little and was like, "This is stupid." So I'll say if they're not the right kind of movie for me to do shit show reviews, then I won't.
Oh no, you can.
Okay, I figured.
I will say that I've seen all the Howling movies,
Mhm.
and 2 and 3 are the worst.
Yeah,
4's pretty
Good.
bad.
there are more than 3.
Yeah, there's like 8 of them. Howling 5, surprisingly, is this like murder mystery that takes place in a castle. Someone's a werewolf and they don't know who it is. It's actually pretty good.
What?
So they have to figure out who's the werewolf and killing people, because the castle has lots of hidden passages.
That's actually kind of cool.
So yeah, I mean, if you're like, I want to look for a semi above. Well, I can't say above average. Average werewolf direct-to-video movie in the mid-'90s, The Howling 5. I think it's called Howling 5 Rebirth.
Wow.
Is see, I'm just a plethora of horror knowledge.
Well-
if you wanted to see shitty horror movies,
I do. That's the whole point. I want to watch shitty horror movies and then write about them.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
they're easy to write about.
they are.
To make fun of. Well, your
yeah.
shit show reviews are so like
I get pretty detailed.
you do. So
That's what I like.
I'm interested
Yeah.
to see what you have to say about The Howling 3, the
Yeah.
marsupials.
I am too. I'm hoping, because the problem is doing that series. If you don't ever visit the website, I've been doing this series where I'm reviewing bad movies, but in the context of how much fun they would be if you had your friends over and you drank and watched them and made fun of them, sort of. So really, the worse they are, the better. But I'm trying to find one that would be a good 5-star,
Mhm.
so that way there's a bar.
Sure.
Because early on I said, like Stephen Summers' the Deep Rising, which is a little unfair to Deep Rising, but that movie is really good, and also really ridiculous.
I want to say, I don't quite remember, but I'm pretty sure Howling 3, there's no werewolves in it, even though it's a werewolf
Well, yeah,
movie.
because I think it's about marsupial people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I don't think there's
which is-
actual werewolves.
That's pretty crazy.
But The Howling, the book, is terrible. It's worse than the movie. The movie's actually pretty funny.
There's a book?
Yeah, don't read it.
Wow.
You don't like the Hunger Games. You won't like this one.
Yeah.
May I
cool.
recommend Father's Day for your shit show review?
Oh, shit.
You're going to have to watch Father's Day again, aren't you?
No, I don't think I can do. You evil genius! Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. Oh man,
We should all rewatch it
no,
with drinks.
no.
Should we do a commentary on Father's
Oh
Day?
shit, that's a good idea too. We're gonna see it like 3 times now.
We're so full of good ideas.
We are. Actually,
Man.
you should stay tuned in February because me and Brad hammered out a non-movie podcast. Well, it's a movie podcast, but not a movie we saw. We're going to be issuing our own awards to counter the Oscars because me and Brad think the Oscars are too political.
Oh, I think they're too political too.
So instead of like the best actor, this is just a little taste. We haven't really thought of actual categories, but instead of like best actor, will be the most kick-ass actor or something like that. So it's not pretentious.
Yeah.
It's maybe the best actor, Sylvester Stallone, in Bullet to the Head. We don't know yet. I mean, this will be for next year's, but
Why-
you never know.
Yeah,
It could be.
I think you do know yet.
You never know. You don't know.
Well, but
how
you
we-
saw the movie.
We did, so you don't know how we feel about the movie.
Oh, that's true. Well, but
Yeah,
you
you
know
weren't there.
You know how you feel.
We do.
I do.
Whoa.
There's like, did I mark this with the marker? Because there's black stuff on
That's
it.
how I pulled it out of the storage.
Huh? Weird. Anyways, stuff we've been
No
watching.
one knows what you were
You
talking
just
about.
talked over my fucking intro.
I know.
God
No
damn
one,
it, James.
no one knew what you were talking about. The out of context, you talking about markers on stuff, nobody knows.
I actually, anyway, stuff we've been watching.
So, yeah, this is the stuff we've been watching.
I had to write it down because I've been watching so much stuff lately.
Yeah.
But I this is a little out of order, but I thought I'd highlight. I think the one that's I don't know if it's say most important, but I saw Mama this week,
Cool.
and it's a movie I actually did want to see after I saw the previews because
Yeah.
I thought it actually looked kind of creepy.
Fans have been curious to know.
And it was great. I went. It was like 5:00 on Thursday. I went to the movies, and I was the only one in there for like 20 minutes. And
You lucky son of a bitch.
but 20 minutes after the movie started, a whole family walked in.
Oh, wow.
I said, "What the hell? What is like 20 minutes after the movie? You're still going to come and see the movie?" It sucked. But they didn't say anything through the whole movie, so
Oh, good.
whatever. They just came in, sat down, and started watching the movie.
Yeah. It's not that I like seeing movies with people. I want people to react to movies, and I like having that community thing. I just want you to not talk.
Mm-hmm. There is a fine line.
Oh,
But
yeah.
and I will say this too. I don't mind children talking in like animated movies if
Right.
they enjoy it.
Yeah.
Or when my little nephew got all pissed because Darth Vader wasn't in episode 1, and that's pretty funny.
Yeah. Or even in like a real bad movie, like people got a little bit chatty in Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I was cool with that because I was like, well, you got to do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's a movie that is even halfway decent, then shut up. Come on.
So yeah. Anyways, I saw Mama, and the story is different than I thought it would be. It opens with this father, and it's actually kind of creepy. There's a news report going about how the stock market crashed, and at this equity firm or firm that handles stocks, I don't know what you call them, there was a murder. And so then this father comes home, and he picks up his 2 little girls, and you find out that the guy who picked up these 2 little girls is actually the guy who killed all the people there, including his wife, because his company crashed or something. And so the 2 little girls are the girls that you've seen in the trailers,
Yeah.
But what makes it actually
like that girl who eats hair.
exactly
It's
what's really cool about this movie is those girls. The one little girl, Victoria, who's the older one, is she's developed. She's like I think she's like 5 when she's left in the cabin. Her little sister Lily can't even talk yet.
Yeah.
So when they're at that cabin for 5 years, Victoria still has the ability to talk and communicate.
Right.
Lily doesn't, so she's really feral.
Wow.
And so she communicates with like drawings and her stand. It's a really kind of creepy, slow burning horror movie. It's not one of those movies that it moves by really quickly.
Yeah, they don't just like introduce you to the monster and then just give you sequences of the monster killing people.
You mean the opening? There is it's not spoilers because it's the very beginning, and the point of it is the father is actually going to kill the little girls too, and when he goes to kill these girls, that spirit kills him.
Ah,
So the whole premise of it is the spirit is very protective of these children.
right. Yeah.
So when they're found by these hunters that his twin brother, who's the father, hired to try to find him, they found him in this cabin, and they take over. And what they don't tell in the trailer too is Jessica Chastain's character. She doesn't want kids.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of shocking to me watching it, because in the trailer they have, the little girl's like, Mama.
Yeah.
And she says, you can call me that if you want. But the actual line in the movie is, my name's Annabelle. You don't call me Mama.
Oh shit.
So it's a really interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
But as she starts spending time with these girls, she starts to like them. Something happens to the brother. He has to go to the hospital because he's knocked into a coma by Mama. And so she starts developing a relationship with the older girl, Victoria. And they also sell it in the trailer that, the little girl gets jealous of, Victoria and Jessica Chastain's character bonding, but it's not her character. It's the ghost that gets jealous. So the ghost doesn't want to lose these little girls. So the whole movie is the ghost protecting these girls in violent ways. Mm-hmm. And the CG sucks, unfortunately.
Shit.
There is some really effective parts in it. The part where it's coming at you is pretty good. There's parts at the end where the ghost looks really good. I won't spoil the ending because the ending is actually kind of shocking.
Yeah. I know the ending, and that is why I'm curious.
And when I was watching, I couldn't believe they actually went that way.
Yeah, that's what people keep saying.
Because, I always respect movies that kind of have balls to do what this movie did. And there's parts in this movie that are really good, and there's parts of it that are not so good. It falls into the traps of sometimes a horror movie. And I think maybe it has a lot to do with they edited a lot of it out, because there is 40 minutes where the ghost doesn't even show up.
Yeah.
It's about these girls bonding with their new mom,
Right.
Jessica Chastain's character. And there's a weird part where the brother is in a coma, and they say it's only a partial one. He wakes up, and he finds out that he has to do something, and so he leaves the hospital, but he doesn't tell Annabelle, Jessica Chastain, that he left. And then they just meet up again on this road, and he says, I got your phone call. And so it seems like there's a whole section of him telling him what he's doing, where he's going.
Yeah.
Because she never seems concerned that he's not in the hospital anymore.
She's not walking down the street like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah. So I do recommend you going to see Mama. I want to see it again. Just because, I like it, but I don't know how much I like it.
Right.
I thought again, the ending, and there's some pretty creepy parts in it.
Now, like I said, I know what the ending is. Do you feel like that ending is, it makes sense story-wise and is tonally right? Or does it feel like they're just doing that because they know it'll be shocking?
I think actually tonally it makes tons of sense.
Okay, cool. Because I would love a movie that earns that, as fucked up and creepy as that sounds, but
I will say this: that part is actually kind of heartbreaking.
That's what I want to know.
Because I tweeted out that I'm becoming a fan of Jessica Chastain, because in a horror movie, usually the actress isn't asked to do too much because she's going to be the scary one. She's actually the strong character in this, and it's hard to talk about without spoiling it, but there's a part where she's struggling with what's happening, and she doesn't want something to happen. And she's just crying, and the ghost keeps on trying to. The ghost can suck your life force out or something.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, why not? Basically, and so the ghost keeps on trying to stop her, and it is a really man. So the ghost is such a protecting, and then she realizes that this lady's protecting whatever she's protecting.
Yeah,
and so what the cool part. This is when the ghost is effective, because you can see the ghost struggling with what is going to happen.
Yeah.
And but it still will shock you if you watch it, because a lot of movies don't deal with what happens in this movie.
Yeah.
So I do recommend you going to see Mama if you like horror movies. If you can get past the crummy CGI and sometimes the awkward dialogue. But it happens a lot. The director's really good, though. For his first film, some great moments.
Very cool.
Great moments.
Very cool.
Cool. So I saw Mama. Go check it out. I also saw, because James last week kept on talking about Van Helsing. So I went to Second Spin, and they had a Blu-ray of Van Helsing for $6. So I got it.
Nice.
And the Blu-ray is beautiful. And it actually, I remember not being that impressed with the Dracula transformation.
No.
It looks better on Blu-ray, surprisingly.
Really?
There's still some clunky parts in the movie. And the Mr. Hyde is really bad.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that should have been a CG character. But the movie's still tons of fun, and I still enjoyed it, and it moved by so quick. I think the werewolf transformation's so cool where he rips his skin off.
Yeah. I mean, the CG, as I remember, the CG there is not great, but the idea of that character, of that transformation is cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's but there's some parts where the backgrounds look so great, and I mean, the colors are so great because it's like that gray blue,
right?
And I still like the movie. I still had fun watching it.
Yeah.
I know Kate Beckinsale's accent was a little distracting. And
no, but that's not why you watch a movie with Kate Beckinsale.
No, and but I had fun, and I forgot that she gets killed at the end.
Yeah.
I was watching like, oh my god, they totally fucking killed that character.
Yeah.
And that part's really badass. Werewolf fighting Dracula. Of course, CG, but it's still fun.
I like the Frankenstein in that movie too.
Oh, yeah.
Underused, but a cool design.
Oh yeah,
and, and sort of well acted, if that makes sense.
No, I think actually all the monsters in it are really well designed. Yeah. I think maybe the movie was
some of the vampire stuff. I think is a little bit over the top. It's that like late '90s. Everything has lots of teeth nonsense.
It is, but I still think there's some transformations with the lady vampires. I think that are really cool.
Yeah.
The scene where Kate Beckinsale's trying to get the cure for the werewolf in the one room, and she's swooping around and. She moves her dress, goes from wings into her dress and stuff. I think it's pretty cool.
I do kind of remember something like that.
So yeah, I mean, it's a popcorn movie. You're not going to win any awards, but it's still fun to see.
I'd seen the movie, and then my mom wanted us to go to that Cinema Grill, if you remember that place where you can get food at the same time. And so they were showing that, and my brother and I were like, yeah, sure, Mom, you'll like this movie, sure. Of course she fucking hated it.
Sure.
Because that's totally not her kind of movie. And then I felt bad about that movie for a long time, where I was like, I can't watch that movie again. But
yeah,
because it's not for everybody.
No, it's not. I mean, it's fun though, and if you like action, I mean, the action's really cool in it.
Yeah.
And there's actually the scene where Mr. Hyde dies. I think is actually pretty horrific.
Yeah.
Because he changes in mid descent into Dr. Jekyll, so he dies at the end.
Yeah.
And so check it out. I mean, it's fun. I'm probably gonna watch it again with the commentary because I want to.
Oh, I love Stephen Sommers. I just do.
Because and I think he knows that what the movie is.
Yeah.
And Hugh Jackman has fun in it, and I'm always a fan of Hugh. I also saw War of the Worlds, which I haven't seen in forever, and that movie is amazing.
Yep.
And now I would say I'm a more mature moviegoer, understanding story more, and that whole story is literally about a father being a deadbeat and him trying to reconnect with his kids.
Yep.
With aliens thrown in it, and the special effects in it are astounding. And on Blu-ray, oh my gosh. I mean, and what's interesting watching it is I think it's the only role I can remember recently of Tom Cruise where he's not really the hero.
Yeah.
He's kind of the guy who hides from everything, and he's not a cool dad. He's as immature as his son. And so, there's that scene where his son's trying to join up with the army, and he's saying, where are you going? What the hell are you doing? And his son says, you don't even care about me. Why do you even care that I'm here? And it's so good.
If it weren't for that movie, not the end of that movie sort of cuts the balls off of itself. If it weren't for that, it would probably be one of my favorite Steven Spielberg movies. Which one of my favorite being my top 20 of Steven Spielberg movies out of 30. But still, I love that movie.
I think the ending is pretty profound.
I haven't seen it in a while, but I think, are you talking about?
I'm talking about the fact that the sun shows up.
The sun.
I thought
you meant about the aliens and stuff.
No. That the aliens dying, that is perfect. Them getting to the house at the end and seeing Miranda Otto, cool. It's when the sun shows back up. Mostly because maybe I don't think that the way they kill him is the best. If he just disappeared, and then he showed up there again, or we just found out somehow he ended up okay, but he had to go do his own thing, then that theme works out. But just the idea that miraculously he shows up at the end, that bugs me. But
when they tease that he probably died,
Yeah.
And it's not like a major plot point. It just kind of resolves the fact that he made this decision
Yeah.
and his father was right about it. But the fact that he shows up with the it's like, oh, okay, well, no harm, no foul.
But that scene, though, like when he's on the hill, oh my gosh.
No, I
dude.
love. That's the thing. I
Where
love that
he's
scene.
like, you do this, you're gonna die. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm like
And
trying
then
not to cry. I'm
right, but then he runs over that hill, and the whole hill bursts into flames, and you're like, "Holy shit!" Like, and it really amps up the stakes for when it's just him and his daughter later, and he has to protect her from fucking
Tim
Robbins.
Oh, dude,
then you're like, "Yes, Tom, you have to do whatever you can do to save
Your last
little
child.
Dakota Fanning because she's all you have left now."
But I mean, I'm getting older, and like things affect me now more. In that movie,
Yeah.
I seriously started getting like all shook up when you just see him close the door behind him, and you're like, oh my god, he's gonna kill this guy.
Yeah,
And it's powerful.
it's great.
The movie is awesome.
Yeah.
And if you've never seen War of the Worlds, I was watching it. My wife came home and she hates Tom Cruise, and I don't get it.
I don't understand. I don't understand. Like, there's just this group of people that don't like him for some reason, and none of them can ever tell me why.
My wife doesn't like because of his personal stuff. I mean, that doesn't mean his movies are bad.
And what personal stuff? Like, he jumped on a lady's couch once.
Exactly.
Like, no, he's a Scientologist, so he's a crazy pants. I understand that.
I think
but that's
my
there
wife
are
was
plenty
more
of
mad
crazies.
about his stance on antidepressants.
Oh yeah, that's because he's a Scientologist.
Yeah, but
he's
whatever.
you know.
You know what? Top Gun still kicks ass.
There are plenty of crazies out there, and here's the thing: what he's talking about there, he's not talking about being an anti-Semite or anything like really horrible. Like, he's just talking like, hey, I think most people should be able to
Handle their shit.
handle their depression, which is an unsafe way of looking at things.
Yeah.
I agree, but still,
There's worse things.
yeah, he's not the worst human being on the planet.
You know, he's not like Ray Lewis, where he allegedly murdered somebody. He's playing in a Super Bowl. Just
Yeah.
saying.
If Jim Cameron were nice to people and didn't like antidepressant drugs, I would like Jim Cameron as a person better.
you don't even
I'll
call
say
him
that.
James. Wow.
Oh yeah,
Don't want to
yeah.
be associated with it. I'll do these next two together. I saw Mission Impossible 2 and 3 again.
Dude.
2 is the weakest of them.
Yes.
But I still think it's a cool movie.
Yes.
Because there's just so many. It sounds silly, but even the scene where he's in the bathtub with her, and you know she's trying to get the necklace from.
Oh yeah, right
It's
at
so
the beginning.
good.
It's pretty cool. Yep.
And but it suffers from John Woo big time.
Yes.
But there's still some badass moments. I love when he's on the beach and he kicks the gun up and grabs it and shoots it.
Doesn't make any sense, but it's cool.
It's cool.
Yep.
I mean, that movie is literally just a bunch of cool shots.
Yeah.
And it's
I unabashedly love when he's driving the motorcycle and he like spins the motorcycle and shoots holes in the car and
Oh,
the
yeah,
car
dude,
explodes.
that's awesome.
I know it's dumb. It's still cool to look at.
but
it just
the movie's
is.
still cool.
Oh yeah. And I think it's one of the better ideas for a villain in a spy movie. Like the idea that he's stolen a virus and the cure to that virus so that he can release this virus and then make lots of money selling the cure to people. Like, yeah, it's the same reason why I really like Tomorrow Never Dies, because that's a Bond movie where the villain just wants to start a war so he can sell newspapers. You know, he's not building a giant laser in space or anything like that.
Sure.
Like that. It's not some bombastic kind of a plan. It's not over the top. I mean, it's over the top, but it's slightly more creative. You know. Yeah, I like that movie.
Yeah, it's fun. But when you follow it immediately with watching Mission Impossible 3,
Yeah.
it's tough because
Yeah.
I was talking to Brad earlier. That opening scene, Tom Cruise should have won an Oscar. I mean, seriously, because he goes through so many emotions, and Philip Seymour Hoffman is so awesome as a
Yeah.
bad guy because he's so scary. You know, you wouldn't think of Philip Seymour Hoffman as being scary, but that scene when they're on the plane and he says, "What's your name?" "Yeah, I'll kill everybody that you know," and
Yeah.
he means it.
Yep.
He's one of those guys who means it, and it's,
Man, that action sequence on the Key West highway.
dude,
Oh man.
that whole movie is badass.
I don't understand how that explosion. It's another thing where when that car explodes and he gets thrown sideways into another car. I don't know why he got thrown sideways, but it's cool.
It
It's
is.
just so cool.
It is, and you
man.
feel for him because you know he doesn't want to be in the spy thing anymore. And then he gets Kerry Russell out of there, and
Yeah.
dude, that movie's so
And her
awesome.
brain pops.
Yep. And her eyes go different ways. I forgot how creepy that is.
Oh man. Yeah. It's also one of my. If you've ever seen JJ's TED Talk, which if you haven't, dude, you got to go check that out. But he specifically talks about that scene where they're putting the thing into Tom Cruise's brain, right, to pop to kill him later. And it's one of the first times where I really respected JJ as like a sort of not guerrilla filmmaker, but one of those guys who clearly was making movies when he was a kid and was trying to find creative ways to do stuff. Because he was saying that they couldn't get that gun in his nose and not hurt him because like the other guy couldn't do it. So what they ended up doing was they took Tom Cruise's hand, put it in the bad guy's sleeve, and then it's actually Tom's hand holding the gun, putting that thing into his nose and pulling the trigger, because he would know how hard he could push to make it look like it was going to really hurt him, but not actually hurt himself.
Sweet.
You know, brilliant.
It is, and watching that again after I've watched all of Alias, you can see so much Alias in it.
I said afterwards, that's an Alias movie. That is Alias the movie.
Because I'm pretty sure the pilot for Alias is the opening of that movie where she's tied to a chair and
because the whole Alias, one of the tropes of Alias sort of was that thing of starting the episode with a sneak peek at what was going to happen later, like after the credits would roll, they'd say 72 hours earlier, and then tell you the story to get there, and that's what that movie is.
Yeah, it's badass.
I mean, Carrie Russell, in some parts of my brain, I'm like, Carrie Russell is Sydney Bristow when she dies at the beginning.
Yeah.
And then somebody,
I was thinking that too. I was like, that'd be so sweet if it was Jennifer Garner.
It would have been really cool. It would have been really, really cool. I can't help it.
But it wasn't.
No.
And I saw 2 Robert Downey Jr. movies this week.
Cool.
One I haven't seen before. It's called 1969, and it's with Kiefer Sutherland and Robert Downey Jr. They're both graduates. Well, they're not graduating college yet. They're enrolled in college, so they don't have to be drafted and go into Vietnam. And the movie starts out pretty funny. The performances are really good until they meet his brother who's getting shipped to Vietnam. And it's as you're watching, you can just tell it's going to be cheesy. You know what I mean? Because the brother's going to die in Vietnam.
Yeah.
But the performances are really good.
Cool.
Kiefer and Robert Downey Jr. are really good. Winona Ryder's really good in it. Anyways, what happens is Kiefer kind of turns into a hippie. Robert Downey Jr. flunks out of college, and when he does that, he's eligible for the draft, and he ends up getting drafted. But he tries to steal his draft papers from the city. I don't know where they go.
Yeah.
And so they're at Kiefer Sutherland's at. Well, he was going to run. This is so stupid. I'm sorry. I'm trying to remember the movie exactly. So, anyways, he's going to Canada to run away, and then Winona Ryder tells him with like this really sappy music. It says, "Real men don't run away. Why are you running away from freedom? You have the freedom to fight."
No.
And Kiefer gets back in his Volkswagen van, and he goes to his brother's funeral, and he says that we don't. I love my brother, but I hate this fucking war, or whatever he says. I don't think he says fucking. And so he says, I'm going to go get my friend out of jail. So they're going to protest his friend being in jail, who's going to be shipped, in the draft. And so they leave his brother's funeral hand in hand, and all the moms go with him. And then
they aren't literally hand in hand, are
yes.
they? No.
And then the dad, who was so mad at Kiefer because he got in a fight with his older brother before he left because he didn't agree with the war. And so he was leaving, and his dad's just shaking his head. But all of a sudden, when the music turns to really sappy, his dad joins in the march. So they're walking from the funeral, then they're walking through the city, and everybody joins in this protest. Oh,
no.
It's so cheesy. But it's like...
Did they join hands and then sing Hands Across America?
They should have, but everybody does join hands, and they literally just pour out. It's like one of the most cheesy things you'll ever see in your life.
No.
Where the performances are so good, and leading up to maybe the last 20 minutes, the movie's actually pretty good.
Yeah.
And then you're just like, oh my gosh, they totally just ruined it.
Oh, gosh.
Because it's funny, it's heartbreaking, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, it's one of those things where, like, if you're going to tell a story where it's got a little bit of cheese in it because a brother dies in Vietnam, like, hey, that happened, and I can deal with that. But when you take it that far, it's like, oh,
exactly. Where they're playing cheesy music, and all of a sudden the town decides that they're going to rally because his brother died of Vietnam. He gave some speech at his funeral and stuff.
Yeah.
it's
one of those things. It's why like cliches work because they get used a lot and become cliches because they work.
Yeah.
But if you just fill a movie with cliches, then you can't forgive that one or two cliches anymore. That's too bad.
Because I really wish it was just a movie with Kiefer and Robert Downey Jr. Because they have some really funny moments when they're in college, and funny moments when Robert Downey Jr. takes acid, and so, probably in real life too. And it's so that part's fun, but then they. Yeah,
that's too bad.
And then the last thing I watched was Zodiac.
Ooh,
the director's cut, which movie is
what is different about the director's cut?
It's like 20 minutes longer. I don't remember what's different though. I don't. It's not. There's not more gore. I know that.
Well, yeah.
There's not more killing. I think it's a lot. I do. I think the thing I do remember is there's more scenes with them talking, with him talking to different sheriffs in the different towns.
Oh,
I remember, and a little more exposition. But again, talk about a movie where everybody's on their A game.
Oh yeah.
All the actors are awesome, and there's some really funny parts in it that I didn't remember.
Yeah.
The retard part.
The way that we can't just leave it at the retard part.
Well, Jake Gyllenhaal says something to the guy who sells pastries. I forget, and he says, I think he says, "Does it bother you that everybody calls you Shorty?" And the pastry guy says, "Does it bother you everyone calls you retard?"
Yeah.
And Jake Gyllenhaal says, "Wait, who calls me retarded?" And he goes away. Then he goes to Paul Avery's desk, Robert Downey Jr.'s desk, and he says, "Hey, Paul, does anybody call me names?" And he says, "What, like retard?" "No, nobody calls you names." And it seems really out of place, but it's funny because it's just what normal people do.
Well, and that movie is surprisingly good at changing tone, because especially in that second half where it's just about him trying to solve the mystery. It's so dramatic and you're just following him so much, and then like the basement scene happens, and it just turns the tension on like a faucet.
Yeah, what's cool about that movie is they set up that Graysmith believes that it was that Lee guy.
Yeah,
but it could have been the other guy there or someone else, because obviously no one knows who the Zodiac is. Right. And the movie does a great job of setting that up. And I mean, the scene with the two people on the lake shore is pretty scary.
Oh yeah. I used to use that movie as an example of the right way to use CG, because that knife is a CG knife.
Really?
But and it's amazing because it's the most intense thing. Like I was disturbed by that scene, and it's still one of the scariest movies for me to watch.
Well, because it's so random. I mean, the violence in it.
Yep. And the idea that last little section, at the airport, and then the box that comes up at the end where it says like, the guy died of whatever, cancer or whatever, and then the Zodiac was never heard of again. Like that is so chilling and creepy. Like the idea that he was never caught, we don't know what happened. It's scary.
Yeah, there's a great moment when you kind of forget about it because it's kind of a throwaway line in the movie about halfway, because the director's cut's almost 3 hours long.
Yeah.
So, I mean, about halfway through the movie, Jake Gyllenhaal's wife asks him and says, "Well, what are you trying to get out of this?" He says, "Well, I just want to look him in the eye. And that's all I want to do." And then, another hour and a half goes by, and then he goes into that Ace Hardware, and he says, "Are you Lee so-and-so?" And he says, "Yeah."
Yeah.
And it's like 20 seconds of them just looking at each other, and the actor who plays him realizes that he knows that he's the Zodiac, basically, and it's pretty good with no dialogue spoken. So I'm really interested to dive into the actual special features of it, and the movie's amazing.
Yeah.
So it's definitely one of Robert Downey Jr. is really good in it, but it's one of the best made movies that he's in.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I saw this week.
Cool.
Lots of stuff. Brad, what did you see this week?
I didn't see a lot this week. Watched more Star Trek, Season 5, Next Generation. And then I watched the new Office, and you guys don't care about the new season of The Office. So, James, what'd you watch?
I don't want to say I don't care.
You don't.
I don't care. I wish it didn't exist. That's what I wish. Yeah, I care, but I wish it didn't exist.
It's a shame. I think it's good. But what'd you watch?
Anyway, all right. I got a chance to see Silver Linings Playbook this week.
Did you really?
I did.
Did you like it?
Yes. Yeah. I should say, before I say anything bad about this movie, which I will, I should say I think it's really good. I think that the performances are really good. While I don't think that I think that what David O. Russell is trying to do directorially is kind of neat, where he makes the beginning of the movie kind of manic, just in the way that he films it, and that is supposed to reflect the fact that at the beginning the main character is crazier than he will be later. But it's sort of distracting and annoying more than
you're
it
saying
is.
it's not as good as Sam Raimi when he's filming Sandman and he can't hold it together. I love that scene.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about the scene where he's born, but when Sandman's walking down the street and the camera's all shaky and he's trying to keep him. Oh, I fucking love that scene.
It's good.
Anyways,
anyway, not about Spider-Man. It's just a thing that I think I just hate David O. Russell's direction for the most part, because I feel like when I watch his movies, he is simply kind of just trying to steal other people's style. I never see something and I think like, oh, that's very David O. Russell, And I think he wants to be one of those directors. But
really,
he's
I
not.
never got that from that movie.
I
guess I get that he's just shooting a drama. That it's nothing that he can really do about it. But
there were things that he would do where he would. I felt like he was drawing attention to the way he was shooting it more than and not in a way that's really cool and inventive. Like I never looked at a shot and thought, oh, that's pretty. It was more like, oh, that's. I know you're doing something. Like you're telling me you're filming it in a way where I can't not realize what you're doing, but I don't think it's very interesting, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's beside the point. The thing is, so this movie is probably going to win Best Picture, and I knew that as soon as that Weinstein logo came up, because I was like, oh shit, like come on. And they've been pushing it a lot, and obviously it got tons of nominations, so it's very likely this is not a Best Picture of the year. This is a really good sort of, drama that takes some, especially, man, that first half or so, the idea, the themes that it's dealing with, these problems that these people have, are really deep and interesting, and I want to explore them more. Unfortunately, the third act is everything that I wouldn't want you to do in a movie like that, where the solutions to these people's problems are simply that they need to fall in love, and then suddenly, that all of their other problems, like their money problems and stuff like that, end up resting on them dancing, and it's just it's too convenient the way that it all lines up at the end and then works out, and I'm like, this is the cheap way to deal with these issues, and it sort of squanders, I think, all of the amazing work that Bradley Cooper does early on.
See, actually, I think it's sorry, I didn't mean.
No, you're good. You're good.
The only thing I disagree with, I think Bradley Cooper's character actually grows in the movie, and that he figures out what they're doing to him and still goes along with their plan.
Yeah,
because I think there's a part where he does start falling in love with her. Remember when?
Yes.
Chris Tucker shows up and he's like, "This girl you've been talking about?"
Right. No,
doesn't like my Chris
Tucker is actually really good and doesn't. Surprisingly, does not sound like that in this movie.
He's really good in that movie.
Yeah. No, I agree, but my point is still that I don't feel like I'm seeing him grow and change, or certainly not understanding why he is, because I don't buy that it's just that, he's falling in love with this girl. Mm-hmm. Because maybe my favorite little piece of tension is the fact that he keeps talking about his wife like they're still in love and he's going to get her back. Yeah. And like that, the idea that, oh man, at some point they're going to have to rip this Band-Aid off, and they kind of don't. Like they kind of find a way, like they set it up like, oh, here's where the conflict's going to be, and then we find out like, oh, well, I mean, spoilers for the movie, but he kind of finds out like, oh, he already knew that, so he already dealt with it. Like, oh, you missed it. He already fixed himself. It's been a while. How did you not know? And that's what bugged me about it. Was it? I think Bradley Cooper is really amazing in this movie, and his portrayal of this character in that first act certainly is fantastic, because you don't really know what he's going to do. Mm-hmm. You really don't trust him. You kind of feel like he's going to explode at any time, but you are also rooting for him. But then I don't feel like I see the other side of that, where I really see him change. Anyway, I think it is just a little bit too family friendly for its own good, if that makes sense. They swear and stuff like that, but as far as like wrapping everything up and trying to be neat about it, It's not what I wanted with what they gave me to begin with. But still, I'm pretty good. It's a good movie. You should see the movie. It's just better not win Best Picture. Anyway, Batman: The Dark Knight Returns Part 2 came out this week.
Nice.
And I picked it up. And it's still really good. I don't think I loved it as much as the first half, but I think the second half is just a lot more building towards the fact that Batman and Superman are going to fight. And it is still really cool.
Kevin Smith was crying when he was talking about it in his podcast.
Oh, really?
This week, yeah.
Oh, man. They do the ending really well. I mean, because you guys know how that book ends.
How does it end?
They do the ending part really well, but I just found myself less interested, because I think there's less Batman as a character in this one.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if you watch them all together, dude, they did a really good job. I mean, it's almost panel for panel, that book, but it's still really cool. You should check it out. And if you didn't buy the first one, that's probably a good thing, because now the second one comes with a coupon on the front that says if you buy them together, you get $5 off. So go pick them up, because they're pretty cool.
I'm just gonna wait for the inevitable combined the two as one purchase.
Probably.
How's Michael Emerson as the Joker?
Oh, he's pretty good. It is a different kind of a Joker. But the truth is that one was written differently too.
I was gonna say he's different than he is in the comics.
I think it was a good choice. I think his laugh is good, but not iconic the way that Mark Hamill's is. It's a bit more chilling and controlled, which I think is a cool, creepy kind of way to play that character. Because it just seems like, especially with where that goes and this sort of wrapping up of the Joker and Batman's story together, if you will, I think it makes sense, because he, at that point, sort of feels like he has gotten he's gotten the best of Batman. And he really is sort of in control, and so I think he does.
The Joker
really,
makes it out of it, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Joker wins at the end. Yep. Yeah. Spartacus came back this week. War of the Damned.
Stars.
And I realized that this season that it's too bad that the way they've done this is that every season just starts and they introduce a new villain and then they kill that guy at the end of the season, because now this is the last season of the show. And, if you know the story of Spartacus, guess what?
He makes it out alive.
Yeah, yes, you're right. Spartacus makes it out, but everybody else gets crucified. Anyway, it's not going to be the happiest season, but I would hope that, it would have been cool if they had one big villain that at the end, maybe they could have killed him, but then still got caught and got crucified.
Well, they already killed the big villain.
I know, that's my point. So it's kind of like this season starts off with them then introducing another villain and trying to convince you, oh, you're supposed to not like this guy. And that's, not the worst problem. But I still
lots of blood and guts.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
tits?
there is. Oh yeah, no, it's still the same show. Yeah,
I love it.
If you like Spartacus, guess what? It's more Spartacus.
I love Spartacus.
Yeah. The Americans also started on FX this week. And
you actually watched it?
I did, and I really the trailer for this show. I thought, man, this is so cheesy. The idea that you're going to make a show about the Cold War, I'm just like, come on. And it is very obviously a sort of Homeland ripoff, where they're like, hey, everybody likes Homeland. What if we did one that was a family of Soviet spies who were hiding in America in the 80s? And it's actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be, and I probably will keep watching it. The only reason I watched it is because it's on FX, and I thought they make great shows, so I need to give them a shot. And it's definitely better than I thought. Kerry Russell is really good, because it turns out she is she's the wife and she's really the one who is more into being a Soviet. At this point, they've been in America for so long that there's this tension very early on between her and her husband, that he's kind of like, you know what, they're getting close to us, and maybe we should just turn over, give ourselves in, and then just live this life as Americans and, be done with this whole being Soviets thing. And she's she is the true believer who, no, we our one of the other cool things is their kids are growing up in America and don't know that their parents are spies. So she's secretly trying to convince them to be Soviets. And there's this conversation at breakfast at one point where, because there's an astronaut who visits the school, and he's talking about, oh man, how cool is this? The guy's an astronaut, and the dad says, well, he didn't land on the moon though, right? He's like, no, he was in Apollo 9, so he just got real close. And the mom goes, well, the moon isn't everything. Like, just getting into space, like, that's a big achievement. And I was laughing so hard. I was like, well, yeah, they did do that first. That was pretty good. Yeah. You're right. Yeah. Soviets can do cool things. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And there's a pretty badass Kerry Russell fighting a dude, smashes his head into a wall fight sequence. And when that was over, I was like, okay, you've won me over. You're going to do some cool stuff here. But at the same time, there are some things that are obviously like, literally an FBI agent moves into the house across the street, and you're just like, come on, like that's too easy. But they're playing it in some interesting ways and trying to cover their tracks on how obvious their writing ploys are and things like that. But still, I will probably keep watching it. It's one of the better new shows that I've seen in the last year. But the better new show, House of Cards, started this week. Honestly, though, I still have 10 more minutes left on the first episode, so I haven't seen enough of it, and I will probably watch the whole season this week. House of Cards is the Netflix original series, the first episode of which is directed by David Fincher, of Zodiac fame.
And from Denver, Colorado.
Oh, really? He's from man, every cool director's from Denver, Colorado. Because we learned this week that Ryan Johnson and Scott Derrickson are both from Colorado, which is cool.
Who knew Colorado was such a mecca for filmmakers? See, Brad, you can do it.
If you're listening and you want to be on our podcast, and you're in Denver at some point,
Scott Derrickson listening to our podcast, please join us. Ryan Johnson, please join us.
Oh man, I would be the best friends with Ryan Johnson all day.
Wow, look at he just cast us aside, dude.
No, yeah, I would fuck you guys.
Creepy.
Ryan Johnson, stay away from the podcast.
Ryan Johnson, if you come to Denver,
James is planning to kill you.
I will go play in the park with you, and we will go on the slides together.
Oh, that's cute.
And we'll hold hands and listen to music and like throw feathers and
throw
flowers
feathers.
in the air. I don't know what do children do.
Yeah, throw a feather. That's dumb.
When I was a kid, I stayed indoors and I played with Legos, so I don't know what normal children do when they're like frolicking. Do kids still frolic? Anyway,
absolutely. House
of Cards. David Fincher stars Kevin Spacey, Robin Wright. Is in it.
Thank you.
Who I still love. Man, she's great. And the two of them play. He's in Congress. He's the majority whip, which I don't know what that is, but I guess it's important in Congress. And he's just backed the guy who gets elected to be the next president, and he did all this work expecting he was going to be the Secretary of State, and they don't promote him to Secretary of State. They give it to somebody else, and I don't know what yet, because like I said, I haven't seen the whole season, but he and his wife, like, because they are this sort of power couple, and there are some really great little lines. Like at one point he says, because it also, they break the fourth wall and he talks to us a lot, the same way that like House of Lies did, but this time it works. And at one point he looks at us and he says, I love that woman. I love her more than a shark loves blood. And just the way that he describes it that way, because that's how sort of almost bizarre. Like, they don't necessarily, you don't see them loving each other really, but they are the same kind of person. Like these, like all of their actions are carefully planned, if that makes sense. Not necessarily malicious, but just he's thinking through everything, and he's clearly going to try and undermine this new president in some interesting ways.
David Palmer?
No. I don't know. He's a character actor. You've seen him before, but Kate Mara is in the show, and she's really good so far. Nice. I really like her. So you should definitely check it out. Obviously, if you have Netflix, it's just there. Watch it. If you don't have Netflix, the first episode is actually free. You can watch it without a subscription. So check that out. And if you don't have Netflix, why are you even listening to our show? Like, just go get Netflix. Like, come on. Anyway, that is everything I watched this week.
Nice. Here's a word from our sponsors. The Comic-Con that is a mile above the rest returns in 2013, and it's bigger than ever.
That's right. Stan Lee's going to be at Denver Comic-Con this year.
They also have George Takei at Denver Comic-Con 2013.
Plus Kelly Hu and Will Wheaton.
Friend of the podcast, Georges Jonty, will be there. So go online to denvercomiccon.com where you can buy tickets. Stay tuned. VIP tickets for Stan Lee will be available. My man spider sense is tingling.
Hey, look, it's Man Spider.
How's it going, true believers? When I'm swinging through Colorado and I need comic books, I head to Arvada, Colorado, to Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics.
Oh no, the teal troll is attacking me.
My son's in danger. Will no one help him?
Oh no, it's Man Spider.
Colorado Coins, Cards, and Comics, the whips the competition with great deals on back issues, 50% off, hold slot, 20% off list price. You want sports memorabilia? They got that too.
Where are you going, Man Spider? The teal troll still has my son.
Here's web in your eye.
Oh no, I'm bested by Man Spider again.
So visit 6700 Wadsworth Boulevard in Arvada, Colorado, and tell them the Real Nerd sent you.
For barbecue that can't be beat, try Birdman Barbecue Sauce. Available and original and spicy. These robust, full-flavor sauces have the awesome power to kick your taste buds in their face. And for that smoking taste on everything you eat, try new Birdman Smoke and Rub. Caution! Meat left unrubbed may suffer from flavor performance anxiety. You can pick up Birdman Barbecue at local area Ace Hardware stores, Ruff's Barbecue in Golden, and the Danny Cash Hot Shop off Broadway. You can also like us on Facebook at Birdman BBQ.
Does this sound familiar? You're interested in purchasing that new action figure, but aren't sure if it's worth it?
Well, come check out PlasticExplosion.com, where you can go to find all the latest and greatest action figure previews and reviews.
Every week they'll be bringing you reviews and picks from your favorite collections, such as
DC Universe, Masters of the Universe Classics, Marvel Universe,
Star Wars, Transformers,
and many more.
Come check us out at PlasticExplosion.com. That's PlasticExplosion.com.
So debuting a new segment on Real Nerds, this is Filmmaker Spotlight. We actually got a message about a month ago.
Way longer than that.
Yeah.
It was
October, November.
It was like October.
Was it October?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because we were talking about this like back when we were going to Telluride and stuff.
Okay. Anyways, sorry. Anyways, we got an email from a gentleman named Christopher Mim, and he specializes in making basically 1950s sci-fi movies.
Yeah.
And he offered to send us all his movies if we would watch them and review them on our podcast. Well, because there's 3 of us, it took us a little bit to watch all 8 movies and get them all going.
Plus, as we just said, like it was right around the time that we were doing all these cons and being gone for weekends and stuff. So it was hectic.
So we really appreciate Christopher Mim sending us stuff because it's really cool for someone just to send us their work. And so I did a little research about him because I kind of wanted to find out why he made these kind of movies. And I found out that he makes these, he calls them 1950s drive-in cinema.
Yeah,
And
no, that makes sense.
He makes these movies because his father, George, loved these movies.
Cool.
And unfortunately, his father passed away. And when his father passed away, he kind of missed, like, he didn't like the movies right away.
Yeah.
And when his father passed away, he wanted a way to make a movie and kind of honor his father. And so he fell in love with the movies again because it wasn't so much that he loved, like, Them.
Yeah.
The actual movie Them, those 1950s movies.
Yeah.
He liked the stories that his father told about the movies,
right.
where, you would see a monster and someone would say, their eyes, or, something really cheesy like that.
Yeah.
So what he did when he got the muse, I guess, to make the movies is he sat down and he made, the first movie he made was in 2006, and it was called The Monster of Phantom Lake. Now, what's really cool about his movies is he is very passionate about this style of movie making.
Yeah.
And you can see, I mean, you could probably drop these in any 1950s, those like 1950s horror boxes that
like,
you
here's
have.
500
Yeah, here's
sci-fi movies.
500 it would fit in them.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's the one thing I really do like about his movies is that he goes for a tone and he totally nails it.
Yeah. Especially that I didn't know that story until now. Phantom Lake was one of my favorites, and it's because I feel like that's one where there is so much passion behind trying to get as many of those little nods in there. That makes a lot of sense now. Because there's a lot of just funny little things that if you've seen those movies, like, oh yeah, that's the way they say that, or that's the way they film that kind of a scene. That he's really good at sort of mimicking that.
Yeah, because we do critique movies, the only thing I will say about his movies is they're very similar.
Yeah.
And reading his website though, he was kind of going for that where they're kind of connected.
Yeah.
Unofficially connected. So I would like to see him try to branch out and maybe something just a little different. I understand why he makes those movies.
Oh yeah.
And I think he has something interesting to tell. Brad, as a filmmaker, what do you think about the movies, and do you have a favorite one of his movies that you watched?
They definitely improve as time goes on. Like, he's done one a year since 2006, you said?
Yeah.
I thought one was 2005, but the 2005 one, the acting and the dialogue is very stilted, and
oh yeah,
obviously there's a little bit of that necessary in a B movie film,
right?
Which he's trying to honor. But as progressively each year I watch, the newer ones, the filmmaking quality gets better, the writing gets better, the acting gets better. I think the last one is House of Ghosts.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, and
he did. He did kind of change it up there. He kind of made it more of like the castle movies from the 50s, like the House on Haunted Hill and stuff.
Mm-hmm. So as he develops, and when you're an artist, you don't. There's something to be said for progressive and being honing your craft and getting better as you do something instead of just doing the same thing over and over again. Exactly.
Yeah.
If there's a market of improvement, then it obviously shows that there's a filmmaker growing and doing better. So that's to be admired.
It's funny. One of the things I kept thinking while I was watching them was that I think that they would be better. The way that he makes, obviously every once a year he gets his friends together and they make one of these movies, which is cool, by the way. And I think that they would always be a little bit better if you were seeing them one a year like that. Because I realized, I watched two back to back at one point, and I felt like, oh man, because I was watching them chronologically as best I could. He was referencing back to movies, and some of those references I'd be like, oh man, that was really funny. Like, that was a good way to do that. And then I remember specifically in the the second one, now I can't remember the name. I can't remember the name. The thing from outer space. It came from outer space. Yeah. Which that one's got some of the best monster design in it, because basically all he does is he takes these ping pong balls and cuts them in half and draws a little pupil on them and puts them in the guy's eyes to make him look crazy. Oh man, every time that guy was on screen, I thought it was hilarious. But there's this joke that the professor character keeps, every time he talks, he'll talk and then he'll pause like that, and he overdoes it in that one. But in the first movie where he does that, it's great. There are just little things like that where he'll repeat little jokes, and I think that if you weren't watching them all in bulk like we were, that wouldn't stand out as much.
My favorite was Attack of the Moon Zombies, which is his second to last one.
Yeah,
I think he kind of got back to making monster movies with that one.
Yeah,
and it was really cool seeing it. Again, what I like too is his DVDs were really well produced. They had commentaries, trailers, making of. They're really nice, and I'm actually interested to see what he'll do next, because I think he has a great vision of what he wants to do.
Yeah, and
I think you can only get better through constantly making movies. And I mean, he's doing one a year, which is pretty impressive.
Oh yeah,
doing feature length one a year. So I'm really interested to see what he's doing next. And I just want to thank Chris for sending us movies to watch because
yeah, it
that's
was
what we
cool.
do.
Where can you go if you want to check out his stuff?
You can go to sainteuphoria.com to check out all his stuff. It also has breaking news and whatever cons he's going to. In fact, he's coming to one in Colorado. Is Galaxy Con? What's it called?
GalaxyCon.
Galaxy
next
Con?
weekend,
Next weekend. So he'll be out there. So
or when you hear this weekend
Yeah.
for you,
yeah,
the upcoming weekend.
the upcoming weekend. It's
February
8th,
9th, and 10th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he'll be out there. So, definitely give him a shout out because he makes really cool movies, and I'm interested to see what he's doing next. And we really appreciate you sending something. Again, sorry it took us a little longer than usual to get to it. We just were busy, and then we all had to watch 8 movies. And
Yeah, and the end of the year happened. Ugh.
Yeah.
We all had to watch 84 movies.
He's also got a podcast if you want to listen to it. It's the Mimverse Bonfire podcast.
Oh, cool.
So you can check that out.
Yeah,
It's
there's
on his
lots of ways to
website.
get him.
Yeah.
you can even go to his IMDb page. He actually has all the movies on there, and you can watch them through Amazon.
Oh, dude.
So he has a partnership with Amazon where you can watch his movies, too.
That's
I
cool.
think the only one right now is Attack of the Moon Zombies. But check it out. I mean, they're definitely fun.
Oh,
And
yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to see what he does next. So thanks. And that was Filmmaker Spotlight. Hopefully we'll get more of those.
Yeah. If you have a friend who is a filmmaker, tell them to send us our stuff, and we'll talk about it.
For sure. Right on. Box office numbers.
This is the box office stats.
No need, James. Already know. The number one movie last week was Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunters with $19.7 million.
Good.
Which they think it's an okay start, but I mean, it's actually better than a lot of the recent kind of mashup movies. So good for them.
Well, and it's still January.
Yeah.
Like, January is dumping ground.
And that this movie was supposed to come out last March.
Yeah.
I think it's doing pretty well.
I mean,
and the movie's fun.
It made more than double what Parker did opening weekend.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good,
Yeah. There's so it actually helped the box office kind of recover a little bit. So
Good.
19.7, Hansel and Gretel.
Go see
And it
that.
just proves that Jeremy Renner is on the cusp of being a superstar.
Go see that movie. The movie's great.
It is. In fact, I picked up Prince of Persia at.
Did you really?
Yeah, it was one of my $1 DVD Blu-rays at Second Spin last week. So.
Just because it has Gemma Arterton in it.
Yep, and we'll see if it's any good.
It's not.
Well, I don't know that yet, James. Maybe I like it. Maybe I like to see Jake Gyllenhaal have an English accent as a Persian person. Okay,
That's not what's wrong with that movie, but okay.
but we'll see.
Yeah.
Box Office Mojo supplies us with all our box office numbers. What's coming out this week?
DVD releases and Blu-rays.
I know one thing that's coming out that I'm actually really excited about. Peter Pan comes out on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And I think the cover art for not the standard edition, but the Diamond edition is really cool. It's a clock from London Tower that has Peter Pan's shadow on it. And I think that's really unique and clever. So I'll be getting that. Also, James's favorite movie about an alcoholic, drug-abusing pilot flight is coming out. Denzel Washington is nominated for Best Actor, though, in that movie.
Yeah.
So
He is really good.
His performance is amazing in it.
I mean, you can
and you
hate
see
that movie, but
hot chick from The League naked in it, so it's not that bad.
Yep. In like the first 2 minutes, so if you want to, you can turn it off after that. I
Yep.
mean, you shouldn't because I like that movie. But
And I forgot what else is coming out, James. You got any other good stuff?
no, but there's more stuff. Alex Cross comes out this week, so
Oh,
if you want to
nice.
see that movie, Here Comes the Boom comes out this week. There's also Deadfall. Deadfall comes out this week, which is that movie with Eric Bana and Olivia Wilde, which did kind of look interesting. Like I wanted to see that, but unfortunately we missed that one. And then is this the week that that Bigfoot movie comes out?
No, I think it's the following week.
I mean, there is a Bigfoot movie this week, but I don't
Dude,
think this is
Bigfoot's
the one.
Wild Weekend is on my instant queue if it ever is streaming.
Yeah, this week we just get Bigfoot: The Lost Coast tapes.
Oh,
But that
okay.
doesn't sound sexy at all.
No.
Though there's wait a second. There's a dude like impaled on a tree. This is a cool. I'm seeing this movie. Look at that cover. There's in the background. There's like a wolf's eyes, and then there's
Bigfoot's
a tree
eyes, maybe?
with no. Wait, it just looks like a wolf's eyes. I don't know. And then there's like a lady with gun impaled on a tree with no limbs.
Wow, that is really impressive photoshopping.
Yep. I don't think that's going to ever happen in that movie, but I might watch that. Yeah, I think that's it, though. Everything else looks pretty.
DigitalBits.com supplies us with all our release info. Thank you, Digital Bits.
Ooh, there's a new version of a new release of Nosferatu. That's cool.
James.
Yeah.
Unspool that real news, motherfucker.
It's real news.
Okay. That was weird. Paul Giamatti's going to play the Rhino?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. I think that's I think it's weird that we are getting so many villains in a movie.
I actually I think I know what's happening in this is Connor's serum is going to be experimented on a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And they're going to run wild in the city. And then Norman Osborn's going to perfect it, and he's going to put it on himself, and he's going to become the Green Goblin at the end of the movie.
That sounds about right to me. It just is like if I would hope that some of they're getting really good actors for these people. I would hope that some of them don't necessarily have really deep character arcs to them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I mean, you could still do an Aaron Eckhart in The Dark Knight. I mean,
that's true
because he was
You're right.
Really good, and then the last 30 minutes was him being Two-Face.
It's not that it can't be done. Obviously Batman does multiple villains really well. But it is a general rule that the movies where there's more villains.
And and honestly, I don't see Paul Giamatti as the Rhino.
It's weird.
But you know what? I'm sure it'll just be a bunch of CGI anyways.
Yeah. I mean, he's big and he's bald, but he's not the right kind of big.
Yeah. Well, the thing with
the Rock.
Yeah. The Rock would be sweet.
Yeah.
But the thing with the Rhino, though, is it's his suit is what makes him that way. It's not really the person. So
yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah. It'll be cool.
I'm still interested to see it. I still think that it might be weird where they might actually have Harry Osborn become the Green Goblin instead of Norman.
Right.
Because they haven't announced anything about Norman Osborn yet. So, but he's obviously.
But they talk about him in the last movie.
Yeah, so
it's got to be.
Yeah, so he's obviously a major character in it. So we'll see.
Yeah. We learned a little bit about 1952, which is the Damon Lindelof Brad Bird movie that has been very hush hush for years now. Like it's been a secret that people know is a secret for a while, because it got an official title of Tomorrowland, which
that's a Disney section of their theme park.
Yes, I don't know
with Space Mountain in it.
Yeah, this is one of those things where I just want them to tell us what this thing is so that I understand what this news means.
Yeah,
because. If you told me, oh, we're going to make a movie about Tomorrowland, I would think, well, that's not a great idea.
Nope.
That doesn't seem interesting. But when you say Brad Bird and Damon Lindelof, I'm there. So I don't know.
Whatever. Fuck Damon Lindelof. He helped write Prometheus.
Fuck. All of the things people hate about that movie. God damn it. Never mind. We also got this week. Kathleen Kennedy came out and sort of told the story of how she sort of got J.J. Abrams to direct Star Wars. And I think the most interesting thing that came out of it is that now they are saying that, you remember when they were real strict about, 2015, we're going to get a Star Wars movie. We're not as strict about that anymore, which is exactly the same thing that happened when they really wanted him to make Star Trek.
Yeah.
They had a date. We were going to get Star Trek 2012, and they said, hey, J.J., you want to do this? And he said, yeah, but you got to move that date. Which is great, because the first thing I said when they announced him was, I said, well, I really hope they don't rush a Star Wars movie with him directing, because that wouldn't be very good.
I still think they can make that date, though.
They can. I'm just saying that I don't think a date is what makes a movie good.
No.
I would rather they take their time and they let him make a great Star Wars movie, and really re-inject that series, which needs it, with some badass and some excitement.
There's no scheduled apocalypse now, so there's time.
Right? Yeah, like we everything is free. Every day that I have for the rest of my life is free, because I thought I was going to die like a month ago. So,
and we dodged that bullet. The Mayans were wrong.
Unfortunately, my computer lost a bunch of the bookmarks of news, so I think that's pretty much it. There's going to be an Entourage movie. What?
Speaking of Star Wars,
What?
for all of you who were not excited about the 3D movies
Oh, yeah.
being released, you can rest well because you got your wish. They are not coming to theaters ever.
Yeah, they canceled that whole nonsense, which is good.
So if you saw episode 1 in the theaters, catch yourself lucky because that'll never happen again.
Though I kind of remember that I saw episode 1 in 3D in theaters because I thought, well, it'll give me a good insight into how the others will look when I see those. And then now I saw that movie for no reason.
Well, I saw the first one because I was like, this is how the film shot ones will translate into 3D.
Right.
And now I was waiting for the digital ones to translate, and now I won't even get to see the digital ones.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
Maybe they'll change their mind.
To let it go.
I did kind of want to see 4, 5, and 6 re-released.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even in 3D like that.
Do you think Fox is bitter? Like, fuck this, we're not releasing these now.
You didn't come out to see them, so fuck you guys.
Yeah.
Sell our shit to Disney.
Yeah. I think that Disney just doesn't care about 3D as much.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They're for their kids
Pixar
stuff, but as far as re-releases, have they done a re-release yet?
Monster Inc. That's out right now in 3D.
For kids
Finding
stuff.
Nemo.
Yeah.
Finding Nemo, Little Mermaid's coming out, The Lion King.
All right, fuck me, fine. God damn it.
And that was just this year, so
I think that what Disney is doing with Star Wars is way more interesting than re-releasing them in 3D.
oh yeah, totally.
So,
Who cares about re-releasing them in 3D?
except for Jurassic Park.
Yeah,
See the shit out of that.
the movie's been 65 million years in the making again. It's been 65
65.
02.
20
Yeah.
is 5. 20.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool. That's the news.
What's in my long box this week?
Ooh.
What's up, nerds? It's the Comics Corner.
Now, I teased this earlier that I wasn't going to do a Spider-Man comic, but this week I'm going to do a new Spider-Man. I'm just kidding.
You dick.
No, I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Actually, I saw this comic in previews, and I thought it looked really interesting, and I've been waiting for it for a while, and it's called The Black Beetle, and it's a new pulp comic from Dark Horse. Or no, it is Image. It's Dark Horse. Yeah. One of the, I don't know, it's over there.
One of those indie ones that you hate so much.
Yeah, but the comic is awesome. You don't know who the Black Beetle is? He's a guy who's searching for a couple of mob guys.
Is he like a superhero, or is he like
No.
is he like the Shadow or something like that?
He's like the
where-
Shadow. It takes place in the 50s.
Cool.
40s or 50s. I'm not 100%. I can't remember.
Oldie days.
Yes, old times. The art is fantastic in it. It's all written and drawn by the same guy. I can't pronounce his name, so I'm not even going to try.
Right.
But it starts off with he's just surveilling. He's trying to get to some gangsters, and as he's on his way to them, their building blows up, and so he gets injured. And then he's finding out more clues, and he's on his way to talk to this other mobster guy who knows information. And just as he's about to get to him, he's killed by this guy who has like jigsaws all over him, and he runs away off this Alcatraz. It's basically their Alcatraz. So it's really cool. It's definitely pulpy. It's definitely noir. It's really well done.
Does it have stuff that's not about him? Does it seem like eventually they're gonna like reveal who he is and it's a big twist, or is it just that maybe he's always gonna just be the superhero
he might
guy?
always be the superhero guy.
That's cool.
I mean, there's a scene after the explosion where he's kind of researching and it's kind of Batman-ish.
Yeah.
Where he doesn't have a Batmobile, but he has one of those, like those 1940s cars, like the Buick kind of cars.
Right.
Where it's all black, and he goes back to his hideout, and you never see his face.
Yeah.
And he's all bandaged up, but he's working on his computers, not really computers, but he's working on his stuff, and he's trying to figure things out, and it's just really cool.
Yeah.
I like those kind of stories where it's pulpy and I mean it's written like it was from that time. It's a bunch of inner monologue.
Yeah.
There's really no conversations until the very end with the one guy in the prison cell. And then it might be hard for people to find now because when I was at Coins Cards, I didn't put in my hold slot, and I went the day after the comics were released. So it was a Thursday, and I got the last copy there.
Oh wow.
So I'm guessing it was really under ordered.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they didn't know what it would be.
Right.
But it's really good.
Cool.
I guess the Black Beetle made an appearance in a comic earlier that I'm going to try to track down. So you can just tell this guy loves kind of that era, the noir kind of comic books, and it's really well done. And so if you can track one down, you should definitely read it because
Where did we land? Is it Image or Dark Horse?
I'm pretty sure it's Image.
Okay, because Image tends to do that a lot, where new books they'll under order that first one and then just do reprints, like second printings of first issues, if they do really well. So it could be that if you keep your eyes open next time you go to Colorado Coins Cards, then they will have a new issue, especially if it does really well, if it's selling out at bookstores or on shelves. Because I know they did that. It's not Image, it's Dark Horse. Okay, maybe Dark Horse does that too. I don't know. Whatever.
But yeah, I mean the cover's really badass.
Oh yeah, that is cool. Oh man,
but it's a really cool book. I think I saw one at Tradesmart today. So if you have the opportunity, you should pick it up. It's really good.
Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna have to try and find this.
So I told you I was gonna pick one that wasn't a Spider-Man book.
Nicely done. I already have one picked out for next week that's also not Spider-Man. So.
And I guess it's not that hard. It's Francesco Francavilla.
That was pretty hard.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's a really cool, and I mean the cover is really sweet.
Yeah.
He was actually picked as in the top as Will Eisner Comic Industry Awards Best Cover Artist of 2012.
Dude.
So he can draw covers, but he can also draw interiors as well.
That's neat.
Awesome. So this week, James did not join us in our movie going experience.
It's always the Sylvester Stallone movies because I missed Expendables 2 last year.
You
too.
did.
It's weird.
You have something against Stallone?
Yes. His veins make me uncomfortable.
Speaking of pulp and film noir, me and Brad went and saw Bullet to the Head.
And comics, because I believe it's based on a comic book.
It is based on a comic book. Brad,
French comic.
Should people go see Bullet to the Head?
It's not a great movie, but it's kind of fun.
I'm in the same boat. I think you should watch it.
There's a lot of cliches.
There's a lot of cliches.
A lot of it you've seen before, but I think Stallone's one-liners make up for it.
Like maybe a rental?
Yeah.
But I think Stallone's really good in the movie. I really do.
Yeah, I think he's really the only good part of the movie.
Yeah. Anyways.
Some of the action's okay, I guess. Yeah.
Roll the trailer, Brad, and, let people hear it.
Is there a lot of spoilers on a movie like this? Or no, I want to say this before the trailer, you fuck ass. I'm not trying to interrupt.
Fuck ass.
Is there a lot of spoilers on this movie, or is it something where people should just listen through after we play the trailer?
It's an action movie that has cliches in it, so
all right, cool.
There's no surprise ending.
Yeah, there's no twist.
Yeah, so we'll talk about it. Keep listening, because I want to know.
I got some rules. No women, no children.
Dad, you gave me your word. You're getting out of that business.
That ain't gonna happen. You know what I am? I'm a people person.
4 of our operatives got killed by this guy last night. I'll find him.
Looks like I have something you want.
Dad?
Taylor Kwan, WDCPD.
I want the guys who took your daughter. What are you gonna do, bring out some kung fu from the homeland?
I was born in Florida.
When I get this guy, it's gonna be bad.
So what are we gonna do?
I want to get her back, then they die.
You two are insane! You're dealing with an ex-mercenary. He's gonna punch your ticket, and I am gonna watch. You don't just kill a guy like that!
I just did. I know, I've heard the speech. You should have taken him in.
You and me got a little unfinished business to take care of.
What are we, Vikings? Bang. Down. Boom. It's history. When I'm done with this drink, I'm gonna be done with you.
But right away, you know that you're kind of in kind of a B movie. I don't know if you want to say B movie, but the title card has bullets going through it the whole time.
Which I thought would have been cool if they kept going into the title, but it's just the studio logos, and then it's over.
So
wait, what? Really?
Yeah.
So they hate the studios that they're working for because the bullet goes through them.
Yeah.
But the premise is he's a hitman, and his partner gets killed in a job
And he's not so much like a partner. He's a guy he's just worked with a lot. Like they're not buddies. He's a reliable guy.
They're not friends. They just work together.
Well, it's important to the story for me because he makes such a big deal about loyalty and like avenging him.
Yeah.
But it's just a guy he worked with. Like they didn't grow up together. They weren't brothers. They just did a couple kills together.
I think it's just because he has like rules in his killing.
Yeah.
Remember, he doesn't kill women. He doesn't kill children. And I think if you double cross him, he kind of gets upset about it. And the weird thing was his name. What was it?
It's Jimmy Bonomo, but
it's
in
Jimmy
prison
Bobo?
he's just Jim Bobo.
Jim Bobo.
Yeah. And it's set in New Orleans, so
yeah,
I think that's part of it. Like a
Jim Bobo,
because like there's that Huey Lewis song, Bobo Tempo. It's a New Orleans sounding song, so I think it's a reference to that.
Oh, okay.
Not that song, but there's some kind. I think it's a musical style.
Yeah, and the movies, there's some really cool parts in it. I mean, the violence is cool. There's lots of there's a few naked chicks.
There's a lot of naked. There's not a few naked chicks. There's a whole like costume party where none of the hot chicks are wearing anything, and then his daughter's in the bathtub, and then there's the hooker in the shower.
Yeah, I mean the whole movie is him seeking revenge on the people that killed his.
Yeah.
It's more that I think it's more that he wants his money than it is really his partner. Because he also gets screwed out of money, and they try to kill him.
This is the double cross.
How much money? $70,000.
They never specify how much money he was owed.
No, but he's making a payback reference.
Yeah, I am. Yeah.
Way to bring it back to last week's episode.
Thank you.
I'm so proud of you, James.
You're welcome.
But yeah, the one-liners were awesome.
Yeah, there's this constant. Actually, I think about 50% of this movie is him and his the police officer. I forget his name. In the car, just bantering back and forth about stuff or bickering over like
Quan was his name.
Quan, maybe. Like he gets all of his information from a cell phone, and Stallone is the old diehard who is technology's totally foreign to him, and he settles things the old-fashioned way. Mm-hmm. So there's that kind of.
But my favorite line in the whole movie is it's at the very beginning. He's riding with his partner. And his partner says, "What, you don't like cats?" And Stallone says, "That's not I don't like cats. I don't like dander."
Then it cuts to a wide shot of the city.
Yeah, it's like a ridiculous line, but it's so funny the way he delivers it because it's ridiculous. And
there's this one part where Quan is trying to explain to him like why he took the firing pin out of his gun. Mm-hmm. And he's like, "Fuck you! We're gonna do things my way. I'm the FBI agent, and you're a criminal. And if you do stuff wrong, I'm gonna get you." And Stallone's like, "Fine, well, you had me at fuck you anyway."
And there's just some great moments where it's just Stallone, kicking people's asses and going in there and spouting one-liners and killing people very violently. Christian Slater's in it for some reason. And he always is the same. He's always that one guy who talks like this. And
is he a bad guy?
Yeah. I mean, he's a lawyer, so of course he's a bad guy.
Oh.
And then Mr. Echo from Lost is like the main villain in it.
Ooh.
Besides the dude from Game of Thrones, the big
I haven't seen Game of Thrones.
Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
Jason
right.
Momoa.
Yeah.
And he's actually pretty cool in it. Like the axe fight at the end is badass.
Yeah.
Is it really?
He actually has a cool lead up to it because where they're fighting the henchman's hideout, which I liked how there's this little nod to how ridiculous the fact that the overall bad guy who's redeveloping the land is in there at the same time. Like, what's his real name? Like the guy with the axes?
Jason Momoa, but
Momoa?
he's Keegan in the movie.
Keegan, okay, yeah. So he references, I told you probably shouldn't be down here because it's dangerous, and his boss is like explains it away, but as an audience we're like, yeah, why is he here?
Yeah,
like,
why is he here with his computer? It doesn't make any
he
sense
should be
at
at
all.
a safer place where he can't get caught. But yeah, the Keegan, there's a plaque on the wall because it's a building that firefighters saved from burning down a long time ago, and there's these two axes in it, and he reads it off, and I don't know, there's just something
it's really cool
intelligent about it, and
he says
symbolic.
This is dedicated to the firemen that saved this, who saved the lives in this building in 1910. And he says the ironic part is that when they tear this building down, no one's going to know who they fought for or saved the fire for. And it's like a really cool line where he says, "Yeah, they're just tearing this down like it's nothing."
Huh?
Yeah, it means nothing now. Like they made this plaque for them, but in the long run, it's completely worthless because no one cares anymore. And then Stallone's like, "Are we going to fight or what?"
Stop being smart. Get it.
Because I'm falling asleep over here.
Yeah. And then they have this badass fight where he opens up a switchblade in his throat.
Yeah, he opens it after it's under his throat.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's badass.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
So yeah, it's a rental. I mean, the movie's cool, but
How long
it's
is it?
kind of shallow. Yeah.
an hour and a half. It wasn't
No,
that
not
long
long.
either.
Doesn't overstay its welcome.
No, I mean it's literally he goes from one place to place killing people, and in between you meet his hot daughter, who's drawing in a bathtub naked.
Who plays his hot daughter?
I don't know.
You don't know. Somebody who's willing to be naked.
Yep, but she's
Yeah.
drawing naked in a bathtub for some reason.
Drawing like with paper?
Yeah, she's drawing a koi fish because she's attracted to the.
She's a tattoo artist, so she's probably designing a new tattoo.
Really, I thought she was drawing it because she's attracted to the Asian guy. Because it's a
It's
koi fish.
That's
I'm serious.
racist.
Because also, didn't they? Well, they do make a lot of like Asian jokes in the movie.
Yeah.
Where what's the one that made me laugh is where Stallone says, "What, you gonna read that in a bunch of tea leaves or something?"
Yeah. I'm not going to let you drive because Asians can't drive.
Yeah, there's literally.
He does not say that. He
Yeah.
does not say that.
He does.
That's not true. We can drive.
He doesn't say that.
No, the other guy says
The other
that.
guy says it. Yeah. No, that's a banter between
That's
them.
actual dialogue
Yeah.
from the.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh no. Oh.
I don't know. I kind of want to see it again. I'll wait till it's on like streaming or something. But I think it was fun.
Why would you draw in a bath though? You're just gonna get the paper wet and ruin the art.
She is an
and-
artist, James. Her inspiration
I know.
comes from. It doesn't matter where.
So take a shower and then do your art when you get out. Like don't waste time.
But then we wouldn't see her boobs.
She could be
This
draw.
fucking guy.
She could just be drawing naked. That would be more interesting. Like why is
No,
she
because
draw naked?
She's
She's
in a
she's laying on
tub.
her bed naked drawing. That's kind of like the tub. Like that makes sense to me.
Why is he
She had to
going
get
to see
undressed
his
to get into there.
his daughter naked anyway?
No, he's not. He says they're
She doesn't know they're coming over.
Yeah.
Oh,
So he sends the Asian guy into the house, Detective
Oh,
Kwan,
first.
because
she might be naked and he wants a strange man
No,
to see
'cause
her naked.
he thinks she's going to be asleep because she works nights, so she sleeps during the day. So he says, "Be quiet. She's probably asleep in there." And so he goes in there, and she drops her towel, so you can see more boobs. It's great.
Cool.
So if you like violence and boobs, you're right at home in this movie.
What? Okay. I do.
Well, good. Then you'll love this movie because there's lots of boobs and
Will I
violence.
really love it though?
You could.
Okay. I'll check it out.
Yeah. And just going to say you don't like it. You have no idea what we were talking about.
I'm just
Also,
saying.
some bad Photoshop of mugshots.
Yeah. There's like mugshots of Stallone being
Because
arrested.
he's been in prison most of his life, so
Like,
like every couple of years.
there's
He
a-
got arrested
Oh.
29 times. or
20,
something.
yeah, 26, 29 times.
And they use like production stills from his old movies as his mugshot.
And we found that out because they credit him at the end of the movie. It says
There's
stills
one where
from-
he's kind of smiling, but it's a
Yeah.
mugshot. Like he doesn't have teeth showing, but it's still like a smirk. And then there's like
Yeah.
one that was obviously from Rambo.
I was gonna say because like if you want a mugshot, you can just find the one from when he got arrested in Australia. I'm sure there's one there, but that would have only been like 5 years ago.
Well, I actually, I will say this. I really liked him doing the film noir voiceover. He was really good at it.
He doesn't start the movie though, does he? It's only towards the middle and end that he actually starts talking over the
No,
movie.
doesn't he start at the beginning because they
Did he?
Because they show that scene of him shooting that cop at the beginning.
Oh yeah, okay, you're right. Yeah.
Yeah, but he has that kind of gruffy, I'm a tough guy voice, and it sounds really cool.
Oh yeah. He always sounds cool. Well, especially now, like his voice has just gotten sort of better.
I did think it was weird that he recapped that he bought a car after the whole ordeal rather than talking about wrapping up the whole ordeal. Like he leaves talking to Quan and goes like, "Yeah, it was kind of a rough time, but I thought I should reward myself with a new car."
Yeah.
As if the car they had, they couldn't get back for the last scene, so they had to get another car and then had to explain why he had a new car.
Is it product placement? It's
It
product
wasn't like
Well, it was a Ferrari.
It wasn't like Last
Yeah.
Stand product placement. Like, here's the new Corvette. It can go so many miles an hour and can deflect SUVs.
It's faster than a helicopter and more heavy duty than an SUV. Yeah.
No, it's just like it's obviously what they have been driving throughout the whole movie. All of a sudden,
Yeah.
So it's like he had to explain that he just got a new car.
There was that weird scene where he set bombs to his house and he blew it up. And he says, "Don't you want to know why I set bombs to my house?" And then you do like this flashback of him like setting up the house, and Quan says no, and then that's the end of the scene.
That's
So he
pretty good.
says like, well, like he does some kind of psychological profile. Like criminals are naturally paranoid. And Stallone just kind of like, yeah, that's right. Like he didn't say it, but
Yeah.
like the look on his face is like, he nailed it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's kind of just a throwaway. Like, why did we even bother to talk about that?
And why did they bother shooting him, putting C4 in a flashback scene? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like too much to explain something that doesn't pay off at all.
Yeah.
And you could have just said, you didn't have to show him putting in C4. You knew he was doing it.
Yeah.
Because it blew up.
Houses just don't naturally blow up sometimes.
But it was weird because, too, it was a dark castle movie, and I thought castle movies were only horror movies.
They're branching out.
I guess they're branching out.
Yeah.
Anyways, I forget what we're seeing next week. God, why can I remember what comes out next? Oh, it's Identity Thief.
Oh, but there's something else that week.
Is there?
I think so.
There's a lot of things each week, but
No, I know, but I thought we looked at it and I got to say maybe we'll see something.
Side Effects or.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's Side Effects or Identity Thief.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Which one are we seeing?
What do you want to see?
Or a glimpse in the mind of Charlie Swan.
Yeah, so it's Side Effects or it's what is that one? I don't
That's
know
an animated Charlie Sheen movie, isn't it?
Yeah, which I don't care.
So next week we will be seeing Side Effects. We were going to see maybe Identity Thief, but I think Side Effects looks more interesting.
Yeah.
And maybe I'll wait till the reviews of.
It's the last, in quotes, Steven Soderbergh movie.
I think it's been the last one for the last 5.
Yeah, I know, but one of these days he's gonna get hit by a bus, and then that last movie will have been his last movie, or he'll retire. But whatever.
So we'll be seeing Side Effects, which actually looks kind of interesting.
Oh yeah. It's got Rooney Mara in it, and I love her name.
Yeah, and Jude Law.
I don't love his name as much.
He's cool though.
Yeah.
So you can email us realnerds@gmail.com. You can call us 720-6nerds5. You can tweet us real_nerds. Leave us a Facebook message. Facebook, Real Nerds Podcast. Visit our website, realnerdspodcast.com. Soon to be redesigned. And yeah. Thanks for listening.
I like it when we record these real late, because then at the end of the show we just get real sexy with our voices.
We do. It's all.
It all just gets down here.
It does.
You know? Just leisurely.
And let's wish Brad good luck at Geek Bowl. Brad, win some money.
Yeah, we'll be here next week. Sorry, guys.
So it'll just be.
He's just checking his phone. He's like, my voice isn't sexy. No, I'm not down there with you guys.
So it'll be a me and James podcast.
It'll be
so
hot.
Cool.
Using my brain.
Yeah, he'll be drinking and
not the brain in my sack, but the brain in my head.
Whoa!
What's the brain in your sack do?
Yeah.
You hear me?
Is that like a dinosaur where
like if you grab it and you squeeze it, it's like the.
Do you really not know about the brain? You don't know about this?
No, I do. I was saying what's the brain in your sack, and I wanted to see what he came up with. I didn't know he's actually going to describe grabbing his sack and massaging it.
Yeah.
When you squeeze it, it's like really pushes the balls out to the.
Well,
it looks like a brain.
Yeah, because you get all veiny and stuff. Yeah. No, it's gross. I do it all the time.
Or it's also known as the bat wing.
No, that's when you spread the sack out in a wing.
This is so bad.
Doesn't look like a brain at all, idiot.
Nobody really calls that the bat wing, do they?
Yeah,
I've never heard of that one before.
Anyone seen Waiting?
I don't know anything about scrotum art.
I don't. I knew a guy. This shouldn't be on the air, but I knew a guy who could stretch his over a lamp. It was that like
so a little bit, huh?
So it was like the bat signal.
yeah. No, it was awful. I never. I really shouldn't say this. I never watched him do it, but your wife did.
I know.
Yeah.
Until next week in another exciting episode of Real Nerds Podcast, when the real nerds go to the local cinema to watch Side Effects.
Bye. That was a really cool radio voice.
That was pretty good, yeah.
And it could be from different eras, you know.
It could be.
That was more of like 80s. Yeah, you could do like, 40s. What a great day to see a movie down at the Movieplex.
Let's all go to the movies.
Okay, I can hear it now. I can hear you rubbing your cock against that. Brad, put that away. And James just moaned like he loved watching you rub your cock. This is fucking creepy. I'm going to take these headphones off now. Oh, fuck, dude! Why'd you shoot that in my fucking eye, you dick shit? Hey, ladies, if you've ever wanted to know what it's like to fuck James Hart, this is your opportunity.
I know what it's like to fuck James Hart. I fuck him every time I get at the show.
And that part's stupid. Cut that out.
Do.
Oh, man.
So we're just gonna. I guess we're just gonna keep on going and see what
I don't
other
give a shit.
bullshit comes out of our mouths.
Did anyone listen to the end of last week's show yet?
No,
There's a lot of bullshit in that ending.
There was a lot of bullshit. It was awesome.
Oh, did you cut all that? No. What did you put in?
I made your wish come true by adding all that bullshit from the beginning that you wanted to keep in. I put it in the
Nice.
end.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because the Tested podcast used to do that, where they would, because when they would sit down, they would just start talking. What?
Sorry. I'm just looking at my phone. There's a grumpy cat meme where, like, there's the traditional grumpy cat picture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And below it says, "I hope both teams lose." It's like not that funny, but it is.
The Tested podcast used to do that thing where they would like sit down, and before they started the show, they would just like talk about stuff, and then eventually they'd be like, "Okay, let's start the show," and then they would take all of that and put it at the end, and usually it was just them like sitting around talking about Star Trek: The Next Generation, which was cool. But then eventually, because that was such an entertaining part of the show, they would just, if they didn't have any of those outtakes to put at the end, they would just make them up. And so when they would be done recording, they'd be like, okay, let's start some fake outtakes. And then like half their podcast became them just shooting the shit about stuff.
So make sure that when you describe these podcasts that you say, hey, stay tuned at the end for bonus content of James
No, don't
stroking his wiener.
No. It should be actual
moaning sounds.
It should be actual talking,
and
not
Brad
like,
burping.
not like. Oh yeah, here's the dumb moaning that happened.
What else are we going to put at the end? I mean,
no, I'm not saying always. I just mean like if we start.
Oh no!
If we sit down and we
James,
just naturally start singing the theme songs to.
You're stroking that microphone and moaning sexually is now recorded. So that's going to be.
I was doing that to see if you could hear it.
I could hear it.
Now it's time for Real Nerds After Dark.
Oh yeah. No, we can't call it After Dark because you already hate how similar our show is to the /Filmcast.
Real Nerds After Night.
Isn't
Before
that dumb?
Sunrise.
Real Nerds. Yeah, now we're naming them like the Before Sunset movies.
Did you guys ever see? Maybe Brad did. I'm so old. It's USA Network used to have this blonde bimbo on it, and she would always introduce.
Oh yeah.
It'd be USA Up All Night.
I did see that. They'd always do like softcore porno movies.
Yeah, it'd be softcore porn and horror movies.
And horror movies, yeah.
What?
Yeah.
On like regular,
like
USA, like
Elvira.
Like the bubblegum station now that makes
where characters are welcome.
Where characters and bimbos are welcome.
Yeah,
apparently.
back in the old days, it was like after I don't know, like midnight, it was horror movies and softcore porn.
What?
And it's called USA Up All Night. And this like blonde-haired girl I don't even remember her name. I'm sure I could look it up, but she would just introduce the movies.
I don't think you cared about her name. I don't think you did.
That's the only. But I don't even remember what she looks like. I just remember she said USA Up All Night.
Weird.
Yep.
Man.
That's the end of the show for another 10 minutes we just rambled on for.
Yeah. See, that's the kind of shit we need after the credits.
Credits? There is no credits in the show.
Whatever.
TNT had that Southern guy who would do similar thing.
What was his name? Joe Bob Briggs?
Yeah.
And he'd try to be funny, but he wasn't funny. And he'd always introduce. I mean, he'd really schlocky movies though.
Was it like just to introduce the movie, or was it like the direct to the DVD on TV people?
No,
where they talk
he'd
every
be
commercial?
like a host. Yeah, he would. He would say, "Well, this week we're seeing The Howling 3, The Marsupials," and then it'd cut to him drinking beer on a lawn chair, and he'd be saying, "Oh man, there's not even any werewolves in this movie." Yeah. A ding dang do, and then it cut to the movie and
a ding dang do.
Sorry, I started remembering Dinner in the movie too. Like TBS had.
Oh, Dinner in the movie was cool though.
He learned to cook, and then but there's a lot of commercial breaks on that one.
Yeah,
yep.
Yeah, that was sort of the problem. Was when they would do that stuff, they would break into the movies a lot. It used to be watching movies on TV used to really suck because they used to cut them down a lot. They'd cut out whole subplots and shit like that.
But sometimes they had there was a thing for a while where you had to make your movie longer and have scenes you could add into the TV version of it.
Yep.
The first one I really noticed was Billy Madison has a kickball scene that's not in the movie, but it's in the TV version.
Oh man, I looked up. Yeah, so see, now I've already forgotten, but we talked about this on the show, the Pulp Fiction thing, where it's the Canadian version, the Canadian release, I believe, of Pulp Fiction, or maybe the UK release, has that extra long sequence where they talk about people who like the Beatles and people who like Elvis.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't always see that version, but on TV they show it a lot. I think just because there's not a lot of swearing, so it makes the movie longer. Yeah, it's weird.
And I love the DVD features where they have for the TV version where they replace the words, and sometimes it's totally ridiculous.
Oh yeah. Like Melon Farmers.
Yep.
Every Die Hard movie has the best voiceovers. Oh man.
Come out to the coast, go to a party, have a good time.
Since I didn't talk about it earlier and we're just bullshitting,
Yeah.
I just have to say that Season 5 of Star Trek Next Generation has episodes like Darmok and Silicon Avatar.
I love Darmok.
Yeah. Darmok is like an episode they teach in school because it's all about learning languages from people you don't understand.
It's really cool. So, Ryan, since you don't know it, Picard gets sort of stuck on this planet with this dude, and they don't have their universal translator. Well, the truth is it doesn't work. As I remember, it doesn't work because of the way that their conversation works. But
they speak in storytelling.
Yeah. So, but anyway, so he doesn't know how to talk to this guy, and there's a monster on there. And they have to figure out how to talk to each other. And the cool thing about the way they talk is that it'd be like if instead of saying I'm hungry, or instead of saying like I'm hungry, I want to go to Wendy's, I would say like, Ryan and James on Friday nights. And if you and I both understood that on Friday nights Ryan and James go to Wendy's, then you would know that what I was saying was, let's go to Wendy's.
Or we're friends.
And so that's yes, exactly. Or
we have a friendship together.
Yeah, exactly. Like if I was like, hey, you and I, we're like, Rachel and Russell or whatever those people from Friends were named.
Rachel and Ross?
Yeah, whatever. If I said like, Rachel and Ross, and then you knew like, oh, that I'm saying that you're saying that we're friends. And that's the way he talks. And just like the whole episode is just about the two of them sort of becoming friends by the way that they learn to speak each other's language. And then they have to fight an invisible monster. And it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I love fighting monsters.
In Silicon Avatar, 5 seasons ago, Data's setup is that he is the survivor of this colony of people that were attacked by a thing called the crystalline entity.
Yeah.
And it gets away. Obviously, he survives, and it shows up again while they're on another planet trying to, help out the society. It shows up, obliterates everything except for everyone who survives in the cave. And then in this other world that happened, this woman's son is killed there. Oh, wait, no. The son is killed when Data is in that previous colony.
Yeah.
And so she shows up on the Enterprise to help them figure out how to defeat the crystalline entity before it escapes the planet. And she's really upset over it killing her son, while Picard simply wants to learn to communicate with it and figure out why. Because he suspects that it's not out to kill anybody. It's just an organism that's looking for food. Like a whale who eats plankton in the sea isn't out to kill plankton personally. It's just it needs to feed.
Yeah.
And they want to figure out how they can feed it without sacrificing people.
Because it's like a giant snowflake.
Yeah.
Like a space snowflake.
And she's so bloodthirsty to get rid of it that when they finally do have a chance to connect with it and they're about on the verge of communicating with it, she increases the vibrations and the signal that they're giving it to talk to it, that it shatters it. And there's no reported other version of this elsewhere in the universe, so it's like they totally missed an opportunity. And it's really heartbreaking. And then when Data escorts her back to her cabin because I don't know why he doesn't just put her in the brig, because that's a fucked up thing to do.
Oh yeah, no, yeah.
But she gets to go back to her cabin, and she because Data has recorded all of his meetings with people, so he knew her son, so he's able to imitate him. And so leading up throughout the episode, she starts to personify, or help me out, James. She kind of sees Data as her son, even though obviously he doesn't look like him or anything. But at one point he projects as her son. And so when she's like, "I did the right thing, right?" and then Data's harshly, and it's great. He's like, "No, your son believed in you as a scientist, and he was a scientist himself, and he would be very disappointed in you right now." And it's like a great fuck you to her. And
that's awesome. Oh, that's good.
I love the subtle fuck yous.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
He's like, "Yeah, you should be ashamed of yourself."
I do look every time I'm at Second Spin and TradeSmart for a Blu-ray of Wrath of Khan because I want to see it again.
Yeah. Are those even out on Blu-ray?
Yeah.
Yeah, they only did 2, 4, and 6 as the individual Blu-rays.
Yes, that's right. You have to.
Otherwise,
buy
you have to
collections.
get the box set.
Yeah.
If you want a Blu-ray of 3 by itself, you're screwed. Or 5.
I don't want a Blu-ray of 3 by itself or 5.
You kind of need 3 because it directly connects to 2 and 4. So.
Yeah. But if I were going to have those, I would buy the collection. So
yeah,
I guess that makes sense. Otherwise, I would just want 2 and 4 because I know what happens in 3. I want 2 and 4, and I want 6.
It's a search for Spock.
Yeah. No. Well, yes.
Isn't
3
that
is the
crazy
search for
that
Spock.
I haven't seen the movies, but I know what they're about because
Yeah.
they're so part of popular culture.
Well, and you knew that he died in the second one.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's done way better in the actual movie, but
Right.
Out of all of us, he was the most human. Is in so many things.
Yeah.
Oh man, out of all of us, he was the most
human.
Great
great.
Family Guy.
All right, I gotta go home.
All right, yeah. Get out of here. Fuck off.
Bye.
Bye.